this variance here on the right should be 50 units existing.
Hey, John.
Just the tree porch. Because put 46 on the state.
No, Craig put 46.
I wonder what the today.
I know.
It was gonna be nice. What is it saying? It makes it seem like that's something. Yeah.
I should probably go to a doctor.
Well, take it to number, take a good result of before they're gonna be.
It's as long as it's there.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Got it.
Look at the minutes.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, we're ready to go? Ready to rumble?
Ready to rumble.
Let's all get started. This is our August 17th planning board meeting. This meeting is under the open public meetings law statement. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under chapter 231 PL 1975, specifying the time and place with such notice as being sent to the retrospect and posted on the municipal public notice meeting bulletin board. So we have a roll call.
Sure. Ms. Bonacorsi. Sorry. Mr. Madden.
Here.
Mr. Dukakis.
Here.
Councilman Morgan.
Here.
Mr. Famularo.
Here.
Mr. Shannon.
Here.
Mr. Schmidt.
Here.
And Mr. Phillips.
Here. We have a quorum, thank you. We all rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there any correspondence, Suzanne, that we need to review?
No.
Okay. Also, we'll open up for any public statements or comments not relative to these cases this evening. I don't see any, so we'll close that. And we'll move on to any board comments. Last meeting, I think. No? Okay, that's fine. And we'll move on. Let's keep fast here. Approval of the minutes from last meeting. You all had an opportunity, so you had an opportunity to review them. Are there any comments, corrections? There were 3 people not in attendance, Jennifer, Brian, and Michael. That's correct. On the cases, right? We have the 10 again. Okay, seeing none, do we have a roll call vote on the minutes?
Sure.
Or approval, sorry, this is so, to approve the minutes, I guess we need a motion.
Yes, thanks.
I'll make a motion, thank you. I second, thank you, all right. Roll call.
Sure. Mr. Dukakis.
Yes.
Councilman Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt.
Yes.
Need somebody. Bonacorsi wasn't here. Mr. Madden?
I recuse myself.
Oh, you were accused. Okay.
Yeah.
Councilman Morgan. Oh, I got you. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
The minutes have been approved. Next on the resolution, we only had one case last month, which was case 23-7-1P, Tanner Brewing Company, 22 West Atlantic Avenue, Block 29, Lot 4. Now, apparently the resolution was not distributed. I have reviewed it myself. Alexis was kind enough to give me her copy. It appears to be correct as far as I remember the case. So we're going to have to go ahead and vote on this tonight. That's okay. All right, so I need a motion. No, it's not, it's done. It's done. This meeting, if no one's seen it, we should. We want to
Yeah,
pass around. We can table
Yeah,
it.
you can table it to the end if you want to take a look.
Oh, good, then I can make you all copies while you talk about the next case.
That would be perfect. So
Okay.
it would be-
No, I don't, I'll take your copy.
All right, so we'll
My
just do
copy
that.
up right now.
All right.
Do you?
I just sent it to you
recess?
now.
We'll recess and take it back.
No, it'll run without, it'll run without
All right, that's fine. Okay, we got- No, that was it. We're just going to new business right now. All right. All right, well, we'll table that, but we all get a chance to read it. First, the application tonight, the new business would be case 23-8-1P, Timothy Stites, 904 Station Avenue, Block 57, Lot 11. Mike's sitting up front. We have a microphone. Stephen.
I checked it, it's
All right. Dawn.
my first cover.
So we're recording this, so if you can speak up.
Sure.
Good evening. So I just want to say, before you get started, before our solicitor swears you in, the way this is going to work tonight is that our solicitor will ask you some questions, we'll ask you some questions, we'll open it up to the public, close that public portion, see if there's any comments or questions, doesn't look like there may be. And then we'll have some more discussion, and somebody will make a motion, and then hopefully you're successful. So that's how it works. Pretty straightforward. Our borough engineer, Steve, will also go through the letter. He's reviewed your cases.
And I also called 2 days ago, your secretary, one of the girls.
Okay.
And she said, because you guys wrote me a letter back,
Yes,
a document back, yeah.
yes.
So it was just concerned about whether it would end
All
up.
right, we'll get into that. Yeah, so let's swear you in first.
Mr. Slade, can you please raise your right hand and stop? Do you swear affirm and testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Mr. Slade, can you just provide like a summary of what you're proposing for the property? We'll ask you some questions as possible with the review letter. You can raise your concerns from the review letter too, we can talk about.
Yeah, there's a failed deck in the back of this house. When we bought it, it's in really bad shape, but we'd like to put a roof over it, not to change the footprint of anything, just to be able to screen it in the future. And so there's also a roof that's existing there that is short of where we want to go. It's, I think we're at like 15 feet or something like that, but whoever put the roof on prior to us doesn't have the pitch right, and it's in danger of being compromised with leaks. It's very flat, and I don't know how it got that way, but it is. So we want to increase that and pitch it up a little higher, tie it into the house correctly. So that's the gist of it.
and Mr. Chairman, the correction I noted earlier is not a correction, it stands as written. Based on the testimony.
46, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. So you're going to replace the deck. You have a survey, right?
Yeah, I provided all that stuff for you guys.
Here it is. I found it. And at the same time, you're going to add a very small bathroom addition,
Yeah, there's no bathroom on the first floor.
right? And then repitch that whole thing. So, because I see what you're talking about with that.
See bathroom, and there's a roof
Yeah.
there, but the pitch is terrible.
You're gonna roof the entire.
Basically, yeah.
So you're gonna come off the main house, try to get better.
Yeah, there's already like a little slope on it, because it's like a blind kind of shape. And we're just gonna open that up and tie into it correctly. And, just increase the pitch.
I mean, that pitch is like,
It's like nothing.
it's like nothing. I can't believe the shingles are, I mean, you shouldn't put shingles on it.
It should have been shingled now. I don't know how it got that way, but that's the way it is.
It's amazing.
It is. So we're gonna make it better.
So, Mr. Chairman, I can enumerate the relief that's required. So the applicant has submitted their application, referring to an August 10, 2023 correspondence issued by Craig O'Reilly. The relief that's required to, in essence, build over the existing deck in that same area, but extend the roof all the way out, screen porch, I believe, and then the bathroom addition, is to recognize, because they are enclosing it with the screen, is a 3.71 side yard setback being proposed. The 3.71 setback is already a pre-existing condition. The side aggregate, 25 foot is required, 21.6 is existing. 21.6 would also be the resulting, but it's a new variance because of the enclosure, even though it's only a screen, it's still an enclosure of that same area. And then also a rear yard setback. Rear yard setback requirement is 50 feet. The current rear yard setback to the area that has the small area, as the applicant indicated, that it has the existing roof, is now going to be roofed further out. So the rear yard setback would be 46 feet as proposed, just shy of the 50 foot required. Also, there is relief required for maximum lot coverage. 30% is required in the R2 zone. 41% is existing. Proposed is 46%. It was specifically noted in the review that as this is over an existing deck, that the area is only 5% over the existing condition, and only 300 square foot of an increase. We find this to be de minimis, and we would not recommend any one-site infiltration system. The only thing we would recommend, if the applicant would just be to use maybe a one rain barrel, and I would say the rain barrel would be anywhere on your site, which is to collect stormwater from any of one of your downspouts. But the downspouts and gutters of the proposed addition should be directed away from your adjacent property where we have the 3.71 side yard setback.
Yeah, and to enhance this thought process is, today, yesterday, I didn't want to go in my neighbor's yard, I mean, I could have, but they're not there a lot. Their house is easily 12 to 24 inches above my elevation, so nothing will go that way. Actually, theirs pitches my way, but it's easy enough for me to put the gutter in the center of the yard, and I have a swell in the center of the yard, so, I mean, all these things can accommodate.
If you agree not to direct any gutter that would discharge onto your neighbor's property,
Yeah.
there's no restriction on where you want to put the downspout,
Right,
as long as you agree to that general condition.
absolutely.
Also, as the proposed improvements only do a disturbance of an additional 70% over build improvements, we would like to note it in the resolution that a grading plan would not be required for this application.
Okay, thanks.
I have nothing further, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it. So, Mr. Stites, you're in an R2 district, and minimum lot size is 12,000 square feet. You have 6,250, so do you consider that a hardship as far as
Well,
lot coverage?
It's definitely small to deal with, and I didn't know these parameters that had to be adhered to for, this, which is fine. But I think the structure of the house as well, there's already a roof sitting that 3.75 from the border anyway. And so we're just extending that straight out. I know I provided pictures for you. So we're not going anywhere closer. We're just coming straight out with that parallel to the property line. So the intrusion is not.
You're not exacerbating the situation that you stay with.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's an undersized lot, so that, your life, it's very difficult to get 30%.
There's restrictions that one, yeah.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Questions from the board? I'll open up to the public. Is there any public comment or questions for this application? So close that. I'll see none. Close that. If there's not any discussion, maybe I'll ask what's the legal criteria.
Can I just ask a couple questions too?
Sure.
So would you say your neighborhood needs, conditions such as like the smaller lots and more impervious coverage and common to the area necessarily?
I didn't hear you with that term, however.
I'm sorry, did you say like in the area, so in the zone that you live, your neighbor, similar issues to you, has small lots, bigger homes?
They're all bigger lots. Everybody's got much bigger lots.
Okay, so that's the thing that's unique to you.
Yeah, this contours to the house, it doesn't, obstruct anybody else's, pushing on to them as far as the property line goes. There's already, like I said, there's already a roof there existing, and it comes out, you'd have to look at the pictures, but it's already pretty much there. We're just extending it parallel to the property line. And I've had a discussion with my neighbors, it's fine. It doesn't intrude upon them. So we put, I don't think you'd want to do a, kind of a monstrosity kind of thing on the house. It's a nice slope, but it also, some of the issue is, like I said, the picture's already there. I don't know how that got there, but it's there. And it's just going to be a problem with the house. I mean, the house is almost 130 years old. So, and we are taking some concrete up. There's a bit of a pad there that leads to the old existing entrance to the deck. So we are going to remove that because
So where was that at?
it's to the back of the, this pad right here. There's
So behind the deck?
Yeah, it's almost like a driveway and then there's a fence, but then there's some pad in the back. So we're removing some of that as well.
I just want to caution you, there's no reason that you cannot be, if you're successful with the application this evening, there's no reason to not be vested in the amount of impervious coverage as represented on the application, which includes that concrete pad. I would not want you to say, I'm removing the concrete pad. If you do remove the concrete pad, you would be vested and be able to replace it in a similar area. So,
Right.
the impervious as I presented really, I believe would not change.
Yeah, as it's presented in the application.
Yeah, and it keeps it in perspective of the house, the way this is set up. We're just basically putting a roof over the deck, but the deck has failed, so those combination things are, trying, like we all try to do is upgrade the town. This is the perfect scenario. We did the front porch, we just did the permit with that, so we could, process all that. The porch literally was falling down. I mean, that means the whole roof on that side of the house was being pulled away. So, which is fine. I mean, that's stuff when you get this kind of age, so we just finish that and now the back needs to be addressed.
Member of the board have any questions? So the application we have here tonight for Mr. Site is located at 94 Station Ave, which is block 67, lot 11. The property currently contains single-family dwelling with a wood deck that we talked about tonight, a concrete driveway, a shed, and the associated improvements. The property is located in the R2 zone with residential uses around the property. The applicant proposes an addition, which is about 7 by 10 over a portion of the existing deck, and to extend the roof over the entire existing deck to create a screened-in porch, and as we talked about, the correct pitch of whatever the heck is going on there.
I'm not quite sure what the pitch will be, but it'll be something more sensible.
So the applicant seeks both variances tonight, and there are two different types of both variances. There are hardship variances, and in order to meet any type of variance, you need to establish the positive and negative criteria. So for the positive criteria for a hardship variance, which is the C1 variance, the applicant can be successful when they've established a peculiar and exceptional practical difficulty on the property, or an exceptional and undue hardship based on the exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of the property, physical features uniquely affecting the property, or extraordinary and exceptional situations uniquely affecting the specific property or structures. So that's the positive criteria. Negative criteria is board may grant a variance when the applicant established that it will not cause a substantial detriment to the public good and will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zone ordinance. So that's a hardship variance. The second type of variance will be a flexible C variance, which is a C2 variance. Same thing, we're using the positive and negative criteria. The flexible C variances are permitted to be granted when the purposes of the municipal land use law will be advanced by a deviation from the zoning ordinance requirements, and the benefits of the deviation would substantially outweigh any detriment. The negative criteria remain the same, so no variance may be granted unless the board finds that it can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, and it will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zoning plan and ordinance.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Do you have a motion?
I motion to approve, subject to the water being directed away from the neighbors.
Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Call.
Sure. Ms. Bonaccorsi,
Yes.
Mr. Madden,
Yes.
Mr. Dukakis,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Mr. Famular,
Yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Yes.
and Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Next month, we'll vote on the resolution, and then it gets printed in the paper. Then 45 days from that time it's printed, anybody can appeal it, but it doesn't look like there's any major interest in your case, so you probably okay to proceed.
Yeah, it's behind the house, it's not intrusive.
But we have to tell you that, we have to tell you the rules, though.
So you're proceeding at your own risk until the appeal
Yes.
process, but you take into account
Yes.
the public interest.
Yeah, you can call that.
Thanks.
Okay. Our next case is, case 23-8-2P, Christopher and Jacqueline Russo, 1732 Sycamore Street, Lot 94, Lot 2. Evening, come on up. Have a seat. Just one of you going to testify? Yeah. Okay. All good. Is there someone here or here?
You can sit right now, sorry.
That's fine. So you witnessed the again proceedings, you kind of know the process, and basically, again, you're coming before us for a full variance, so, we're gonna ask you questions concerning your hardship and so forth. Okay, so we'll ask, our solicitor to swear you in, and then we'll get started.
Mr. Russo, talk if you'd like. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Russo, can you just provide a summary of what you're proposing here, to explain to the board what's going on?
Yeah, so in October 2022, my wife and I, we made settlement on our house in Haddon Heights, 1732 Sycamore Street. We moved in, we had 2 beautiful kids, and then in December, our 3rd beautiful baby was born. And we were, we thought we were a year away from getting this process started, but we were just like, the kids need room to play. Outside is great. They love playing outside. We didn't have that back in the city, but we need the basement, and the kids each need a bedroom. It's how I grew up. It's how my wife grew up. So that's what we're looking to do. Add a 2nd floor, and we're also going to renovate the interior of the existing floor to the basement. First floor.
Do you have any idea, Mr. Russo, how high we're going to be for this?
The
Or is it
building,
within the 2.5 feet?
so the size of the proposed building is 27.91 height in feet, 2 stories total.
Okay.
Okay, that's real.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that it's within, we wouldn't need any height variance, so you would be within permitted in the zone. I'm sorry, can you repeat that number, 27?
27.91 height in feet, yeah.
Where do we,
So it'll be under the, if I may, it'll be under the 35-foot height limitation. So you will not be exceeding.
Sometimes I amaze
35 feet.
myself.
Correct.
We don't want to hold you specifically to that on the concept plan, so as long as you're under 35 feet, you'll be.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that we wouldn't need any other type of variance here tonight for like.
Awesome, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Yeah, so any other questions before we get started? That's fine.
Referring to an August 10th, 2023 review, the application as indicated by the applicant is a second floor addition. I could indicate that the application materials represent that it's going to be over the existing footprint and not exceed the existing footprint of the existing underlying structure. The existing side yard setback of the property in the R5, and the property is located in the R5 zone, has an existing side yard setback of 6 foot. Because they are extending the second floor, it is a proposed variance for the same 6 foot, same pre-existing 10 as proposed. In terms of side aggregate, 20 foot is required in the zone. The existing one-story structure is as a side aggregate of the 2 side yards of 18.3. The proposal is also 18.3 because they're just adding the second floor along the same lines of the existing structure. That's my understanding of the relief that is required under the application. And I have nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Steve. So rear yard wasn't an issue, obviously, and we did note that there are some accessory buildings that are not within the 5 feet.
I was remiss, I should have noted, there are other existing conditions of noted of review, which is for the accessory structures, 5 foot is required. It is noted that outbuilding side yard setback exists at 4.8, no changes proposed. It'll stay at 4.8. And this outbuilding rear yard setback is required is 5, and it's at 4.3 and will not change. So, in fact, I would assume that's a shed. Garage, I'm sorry. Yes, that's garage, I'm sorry. Should have looked at the pipe before I asked the question. But that remains unchanged as part of this application.
I'm a little confused because the architectural plan shows a 12.3 foot dimension on that large, where the driveway is, whereas indicating, sorry, never mind, side yard aggregate. Never mind, 12.3 plus 60, sorry. So we're complying on one side and not on the other side. So the fact that the driveway continues to the back versus the house this way, in a sense, do you feel that that would be a hardship to the property because your site of your house pushed it too close to the other neighbor?
I don't understand.
So if I may.
Yeah,
So you are creating your second floor addition in your existing footprint, going straight up, and you're not proposing to do less of an addition on the side yard that does not comply. And the question, the chairman, my understanding of the question is, you would not want to put an addition over or closer to your existing driveway, because that driveway leads to your rear garage.
Correct. Right, but the fact, right,
And that
makes sense, and that's exactly.
And that is encouraged throughout the borough to have parking beyond the rear face of the single family dwelling. So it's a requirement.
Positive criteria, right, to have the garage and the parking to the rear, but having it site, by doing that, it's site your house originally too close to the property line on the other side. And so this, in a sense, is what I would think would be a hardship to the property, right, because you're too close to one side. But the reason you're here is because you're extruding directly up in the conditions not conforming now. So that's why-
Right.
So I'm just trying to establish this is a hardship to the property.
I guess I don't fully understand what a hardship to the property means.
So the way the seat variances work is if there's something peculiar about your property, the way maybe the house is sited that causes this variance to exist or to be needed is the issue. So you wouldn't be here if your property, if your house had been sited such that you had 8 feet on one side and
Exactly, yes.
12 feet outside, after it was 20 feet. So
That part, yeah, I guess hardship to the property, that's where
That's the hardship.
that's the hardship.
That's-
So it's a legal term.
that we're too close.
If you have a very large lot, there's no hardship. But as soon as it's the particular shape of your lot prevents you from moving your house.
The reason for the variance.
Yes,
Yeah,
the reason for the variance, that your testimony in support of the variance is what I think the chairman was trying to.
Trying to, yeah, I need to get it on the record. You feel that this is a hardship.
Yes.
Thank you. I have no other questions. Any questions? Open up to the public. Nobody here from the public will close that, so, if there are any other questions? Yes, Alexis, do you have any other questions?
So you, based on your application, you're pretty close to the impervious coverage on your lot already, correct? And
I think the existing is 28.5.
Yeah.
reason I say that is that if you were to try to add any type of addition, as opposed to going up, going out, right, you would also be in need of variance, which probably a much more significant variance than what you were asking for tonight to expand the pre-existing non-conformance. Something that already exists when you bought this property, and you're not making it any more non-conforming than what it already is.
Correct. Yeah, you're not encroaching on any more ground. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Unless you want to add anything.
So then, just, I'm sure you
Yeah,
agree.
no.
Just go through the criteria again.
Okay, so for the audience out there tonight. So we have here tonight for the Russos at, the property is located at 1732 Sycamore Street, block 94, lot 2. It is currently contains a single-story, single-family dwelling, a patio, driveway, a garage, and the associated improvements. The property is located in the R5 residential zone with surrounding residential uses. The applicant proposes to add a second story on the existing one-story building, and the applicant seeks to both variances for aggregate side yard setback and the side yard setback. Talk about our standards again. Again, we have first hardship variances. Positive criteria can be established when there's a peculiar and exceptional practical difficulty that exists on the lot, or an exceptional and undue hardship exists based on the exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of the property, physical features uniquely affecting the property, or extraordinary and exceptional situations uniquely specific to the property or structure. For the negative criteria, a variance cannot be granted unless the applicant can establish that it will not cause a substantial detriment to the public good and will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone planning ordinance. So that's for the hardship variances. For a flexible C2 variance, again, we have our positive and negative criteria. The positive criteria for the flexible C variances are when a variance can be granted when the purposes of the municipal land use law would be advanced by deviation from the zoning ordinance requirements, and the benefits of the deviation would substantially outweigh any detriment. The negative criteria, as we already talked about, no variance may be granted unless the board finds that it can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, and it will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone planning program.
Thank you, Alexis. Appreciate it. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the variances in accordance with the conditions as set forth by Mr. Bach and his work.
Second. Thank you. The roll call, please.
Ms. Bonaccorsi?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Dukakis?
Yes.
Councilman Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Famularo?
Yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
And Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the project. Everybody, we should give everybody this. Just, I think, maybe you heard from the other application. Next month, we'll vote on the resolution, and it's printed in the paper, 45 days from the date it's printed in the paper, it's about a week. 45 days from that point, anybody can appeal, so again, if you want to proceed, you proceed, Travis.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna.
Thanks very much.
When did you say we'll be printed? In a week?
No,
In a week from next
next
month.
month's meeting.
So next month will be September, the week after that.
But you can, I can give your wife a letter if you want to take responsibility during that time.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So as of tomorrow, you can contact Suzanne at the office and decide if you want to proceed and run why the
But-
publication.
but it'll wait till after second vote next month. Okay?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
All right, so if you everybody commits to read this resolution, we can just sit back and.
No, I don't know how to pause.
There's a.
We'll just,
What?
Resolution.
okay.
Shoot, to have the vote as, Michael Madden voting yes and myself recused. I think it should be switched around.
Oh, yeah, I didn't vote. Yeah, that's a big.
I wasn't here, so
So Michael will be recused. Any other?
With Mr. Hanson not here, will that change the caption of signing this?
He doesn't normally sign it. I didn't take him off yet. Normally I just sign it in this town. I do. Oh, did you want to read it? I'm sorry, I didn't.
I'm pretty sure I read it already, and I had no
I
objection.
just sent it out to
I
you.
think I owe somebody an email in your office on that. Sorry.
Councilman Morgan, who did you say made the motion? You did?
No, I just said the votes, I
Okay.
voted yes, and Michael Madden has
Yeah,
voted recused.
Okay, all right. Because I know back in my office, I know who made the motion, but I don't have it in my head.
I don't recall the
So-
motion.
We could just, if the board so decides to approve it, we can just say with the appropriate revisions.
Okay,
Already the vote count.
okay.
The motion. I think that's why that, maybe that way.
Oh, maybe I have it here.
There's no objection taken. That would be earlier. Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, okay, it was Mayor Halk that motioned. I now have that. Okay.
Which I don't really know.
Yeah, she did. That's Suzanne?
Yeah, it was Mayor Halk.
Jeff, of course, it's not on, because having voted, she wasn't here last month.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, I know it was here last month.
I know. but-
It was Jeff, Dean, Michael, but he recused, Christopher Morgan, John Schmidt, and Mayor Halk.
Yeah, it's just, looking at this, it just looks like a placeholder.
Yeah.
She wasn't here.
Yeah,
There
sorry.
was, and she probably just wanted to make sure that the vote was correct.
Does everybody get a chance to? Okay, pretty much. All right, so we should make ask for a motion to approve it. As we someone that actually was here.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Or resolution.
I'll say,
Thank you.
as revised, right?
That's
Yes,
fine.
as revised.
That's what I guess. Okay. really have a roll call vote of all those who voted yes.
Right. Mr. Dukakis,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
That's it. That resolution's passed. Thank you. Is there any other business?
But, sorry, my Dropbox wasn't good this month, huh?
No, it was missing stuff.
All right, I'll test it earlier than the meeting and send a note to one of you asking you to let me know how many you can see. All right, thank you.
Well, two very quick items.
Yeah.
One, there are no applications that currently that I would feel that I could recuse from, but there may be an application coming forward, at least that's my understanding, that I would recuse myself from, because it may involve a use or use interpretation. I am aware that we never appointed a conflict engineer planner at the beginning of the year. I brought this up to the mayor and to the administrator and to the clerk. So consideration should be made to having a conflict planner and engineer, which is a very rare occurrence that would occur, but it hasn't occurred yet. I just don't want to be flat-footed if an application is made.
Yeah, it has been an issue. I mentioned it myself, but for some reason it doesn't get advertised that way.
But again, I know the
And
clerk.
we've been, actually, we've been in the cases where we had a conflict solicitor. And that, they resolved that. We do now.
You do have a conflict solicitor. I would suggest that you do the same thing and go forward. Obviously, it's not going to happen tonight, just telegraphing it. Obviously, I think the administration should be reaching out to the appropriate board members, and they did bring it up with Chairman Hanson also previously. Second, very quick thing. You're not seeing much of it, only we fund engineers reading all the DEP announcements. On July 17th, the NJDEP announced new stormwater regulations, wide sweeping stormwater regulations that significantly changed development requirements for major development, something that is quarter acre of impervious or more, or for areas that disturb more than 1 acre. We don't see many of these, but we do see them on occasion. In essence, they changed it from the 1999 rainfall intervals to the year 2100, which is dramatic. And then also they put a factor of safety in our area of approximately 25% on top of that. So what does that mean in general? A quick analysis is someone has a stormwater management basin, as we saw with the recent doctor's office, that is going to double in size in general, and all stormwater management is going to, in essence, double in general in our area, and it's by county. So we don't have anything, but it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. Brand new, and there's still, I believe, going to be a lot of interpretation provided by the DEP on how this rolls out. But
That was effective on the 17th of July?
yes, it's been contemplated and discussed for over a year, but the effective date, hard effective date, July 17th of this year. So, just want to, you know, rules are changing again. Our ordinances are going to have to change to reflect that within 1 year of the 17th. So you may see some ordinance being referred to for consistency, but that'll be coming down the pike.
And this is really for like 1 acre of disturbance or even like larger properties. We don't
Yeah.
have a lot of
Well-
that, except for larger.
If you think about this, a quarter acre is only about 10 parking spaces, drive aisle, and entrance. So it could affect some of our redevelopment activities, whether it's actual redevelopment or adaptive reuse under straight applications. But it's going to affect land use in New Jersey significantly. So I just want to give you a briefing.
How does that affect the flooding on the Station Avenue? Steve?
What's this?
How does that affect the flooding on Station Avenue?
That's not part of that. I am happy to report that the last major rainstorm, which happened at July 4th, we had a lot of debris. It was one of those storms that brought a lot of debris down with it. The system was not faulty or plugged, but the debris got into the inlets, and if the water can get in the inlets, can't get into the pipes, can't escape. We had a lesser event just more recently, as is my habit, either I or have my coworkers run around the town, so it only got to the top of curb. On that last one, the inlets were free of debris and free flowing, and also Public Works actually went out and did a preventive clean on everything. So as best we can with the pipes we got. Remember, the pipes were designed, the pipes were installed, I don't think they were even designed, but the pipes were installed way back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s for whatever they felt was necessary then. In terms of a storm, under current storm, it'd be less than a 2-year storm. So the pipes are sized for it.
Yes, understood. Thank you. I appreciate the update. So we'll keep an eye on that, on the stormwater issue. Any other issues? So we're gonna get back to the sign thing next September.
We'll put that in next month.
We want to add another member. Frankly,
I'd be happy to entertain, yeah.
we could use another, we have a sign ordinance subcommittee that right now is just Chris and me. It would be great if we had a third. So anybody willing to volunteer? That'd be great. Appreciate it.
I did send Frank the sign on map from my office drafted. This was taken, Chris Mazinski, when he was on council, formed a separate task force related to the sign.
Oh, I was,
Yeah,
it was
And
nice.
Matt, and Matt from my office, who's got a ton of experience in land use, he drafted one. I sent it to Frank. I don't know how you see it, I don't think you.
I don't know if
it's,
I don't know if the one that Matt prepared is the one that ultimately got,
Substitute this, thanks.
I would imagine that it was.
I don't think that it was, because Frank said he never saw
I was on the
it.
original.
But you had that,
And we had, I don't know how it originated, but I think Chris Soriano brought it. That's when I got involved. I think there was one circulating. I don't know who crafted that initial one. But we had several rounds of back and forth, both the planning board solicitor and the borough solicitor reviewed it, and it got to a point, and then it just stalled. I don't know what happened to it. I guess it never got brought to council to vote on for approval. Once I became the liaison and I learned that it hadn't come through, we started this up again. And then Frank and Jacob Parisi had concerns over the changes. I'm assuming it's just the changes that were made by the solicitors. So they wanted to go over it again, and it's just been taken a long time to sit down and finalize it. So that's what Dean and I have started the process. We just need to finish it.
So Jennifer's agreed to join our committee, so we'll try to get together September one night. Thank you. Any other business? No, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Eagles are on.
Not bad.
Let's start it.
It's not like the 10:30 ones we had in years past.